This is Monsters. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I've been asked multiple times in the comments to talk about how I go about making an episode of This is Monsters, so today I'm going to tell you exactly that. I'm going to go way back to the beginning from when I started out because if you want to use this info to start your own YouTube channel or podcast, the details of how I made videos at the beginning will help you more than the details of how I make videos now, but I'll get to that. Like I've said in other videos, I only wanted to start a podcast. The video part didn't come until later, so I got a blue snowball online for about $90. It's definitely not a professional level mic, but it gave me good enough audio to start out. I was in construction management and made decent money, but I didn't want to drop hundreds of dollars on something before knowing if it was something I wanted to keep doing. You might be starting a podcast or a channel with the hopes of making some side money, and you probably don't want to spend a bunch of money before you know if that's gonna work. So get a cheaper mic. There are tons of USB mics online, but I can only speak for the blue snowball, which was decent for the price. I already had a company laptop, which was a MacBook Pro, but you can get a fairly inexpensive laptop online as well. If you're just doing audio recording and editing and simple video editing, most laptops will work just fine. For my first season, I did audio only. My plan was to have a podcast called Monsters, and I would have themed seasons. My first season was Filicide, the act of a parent killing their own child. I picked that because the psychology of parents who are bad to their children has always been interesting to me. Having a shitbag as a father who had a shitbag as a father is probably why. I found a bunch of stories that fit the theme and started writing them. I used interrogation footage, court footage, books that people had written about the case, police reports, pretty much anything I could get my hands on to research the cases. For episodes that had court or interrogation footage, I would watch the footage and cut out the segments I wanted to use. I would make sure there was about 10 seconds extra before and after the part I wanted to use. Then I would make notes with a rough idea of what was in each clip. As I wrote the script, I would add those clips as they fit into the story. I wouldn't always use every clip I had. Then I would use Audacity, which is free software you can get online to record the narration in the walk-in closet of my bedroom. I would edit the narration in Audacity, leaving a 4-second gap where the clips were meant to go. Then I would extract the audio from each video clip and use Audacity to clean up the audio. It would be a combination of noise reduction, compressor, limiter, and EQ. Then I would use GarageBand, which is free software that comes with a Mac, to assemble the narration with the video clip audio, intro music, and message at the end. My first season always had additional audio clips. I would export that as an MP3 and upload it as a podcast. The podcast host that I used initially had a service that would make the episode into a video with a moving sound line, so I started doing that and uploading it to YouTube just to have my podcast on an additional platform. It was when I was considering putting the podcast on YouTube that the title of the podcast changed. I thought, if someone searches Monsters on YouTube, they'll come up with a bunch of different stuff. I'll be buried in a sea of other monsters. Since I would introduce the show and then say, "This is Monsters," I decided I would change the title of the show to that. That's pretty much how my show got its unusually worded title. When I got to the second season, I figured I might as well start making the videos a little better, and so I started adding still images over the audio. I used a program called iMovie, which is another free software that comes with a Mac. During the interrogation or court audio, I just put still images over that audio. I think it was the 4th season that I started putting the actual interrogation or court footage into the video. Eventually, a couple of my videos got a lot of views, and that kickstarted a snowball effect that made me eventually able to quit my job and do the show full time. When that happened, I lost my work laptop, so I bought a MacBook Air, and not long after I upgraded my microphone to a Blue Yeti X Pro, which was a couple $100 at the time, I think. They're less now, but it was definitely an improvement in sound quality. At that point, I pretty much operated the same way for a while. Research, write, record audio, edit video, and then upload it all. I ended up talking about a new show with a friend of mine. We planned out and started working on the show Somewhere Sinister. For that, I would research and write each episode, then record and edit the narration. I send the audio to him and he does all the video editing. It was around then that I upgraded my setup to another new microphone. I got a Shure SM7B, which I got for around $450. I was still using my laptop with a second monitor, but then I switched to a Mac Studio with 2 ultra-widescreen monitors. I also upgraded my video editing to Adobe Premiere, and I have After Effects as well, but I haven't really used it. Included with that package, I got Adobe Audition for audio and have since used a number of different audio editors, but I've gotten so fast at editing with Audacity that I still use it now. The way I make videos now is a bit different than I used to. Now I use a lot of freelance researchers and writers. I get the script from them and I go through, check the details, and make sure it has my style. I use other video clips a lot less often now, but if I have something I want to use, I'll watch the video and grab the segments. Then I'll insert them into the script and adjust it as needed. I record the opening script in front of the camera now. The reason I do that is because I created an on-camera setup to do my vlog. Since it's available, I figured I might as well use it for This Is Monsters as well. I ended up getting a shotgun mic for that instead of having a microphone in the shot, but I haven't gotten the sound exactly how I want it yet. I'm working on it. I record that with a Sony camcorder on a tripod with a teleprompter system that uses an iPad to display dialogue in front of the camera. It's a pretty cool little toy. As an aside, I also have a GoPro Hero 10 that I use to record videos out of the office. After I have the opening recorded, I record the rest of the script in multiple parts, which usually end up being about 10 minutes apiece when I'm done editing them down. For my audio, I use a compressor and a limiter because I hate when audio levels are all over the place. Then I search for as many relevant photos as I can before editing the video. I actually use Final Cut Pro to edit videos now, as Premiere seems a little buggy. Both softwares have pros and cons, but Final Cut Pro is a little smoother. While I edit the videos, I will grab photos and videos as I work to add to the project. I have accounts with a few different stock photo and video services that I use. I know people like to see images that are specifically from the case, but some of the older cases just don't have a lot of images available. I can only reuse the same handful of images so many times before it gets pretty stale. I try to find other images that are directly related, like the hospital someone went to or footage of the location. It's not always perfect, but I do what I can. Once the video is done, I export it, then upload it to YouTube. I am not doing this at midnight Pacific time. I do this at least a day in advance so that the video has time to process. For a 40-minute video, it might take 20 to 30 minutes to upload, but that's not all that happens. Once a video is uploaded, then YouTube processes the video, which means a lot of things. Despite the fact that the video I'm uploading is in 1080p, YouTube has to process the HD version of the video. So you can make a video available to watch immediately after it's done uploading, but the viewers won't be able to watch it in HD right away, and they won't have access to closed captions right away. Even though I upload the subtitles for the captions, YouTube still needs to process them and match timing to the dialogue. I have software that can also do that and make it so I can just upload a subtitle file that has the timing included. But that also takes time, and I usually upload the video at least a day before, so YouTube has more than enough time to process the timing. YouTube will also analyze the video to try to identify copy-protected content and content that might not be advertiser-friendly. If YouTube finds copy-protected content, they give you options on how you want to move forward. Generally, they'll let you post the video without monetization. I've only had that happen twice. The most common thing that happens with my videos when they're processed is that they come back as limited monetization due to the content some advertisers might not like. I can then appeal that decision, which I usually do because the YouTube algorithm seems to err on the side of caution. It's about 50-50 whether or not I win the appeal. It usually will take an hour or two for processing depending on the length of the video. Once that's done, the video is ready for public viewing. For me, that means the video will go live when I scheduled it to, which is generally at midnight Pacific Standard Time on Mondays and Thursdays. So again, I'm not up at midnight posting videos. They're done ahead of time and scheduled. I'm working on getting a month or two worth of videos done, uploaded, and scheduled so the show is on autopilot while we're moving. At this point, I have all of the episodes for this season, Season 12, planned, and most of them are written. I then have the theme of next season and some of those episodes planned, and I'm working on planning out at least 2 more seasons. I've asked for suggestions on the This Is Monsters channel community page, and I've gotten a lot of really great suggestions. It's just a matter of finding enough stories that fit that theme that have enough details to make full episodes. My goal has always been to try to provide at least an hour of content each week, so I generally have a longer video on Monday and a shorter video on Thursday, but things don't always work out that way. Shit happens. My goal moving forward is not to ever do any more two-part episodes, and if I have a video that's significantly longer than an hour, I'll just do that one video for the week. Some of the season theme suggestions I've gotten are great, but I don't know if I can find enough good stories to make a full season. We'll see. I think I know what seasons 14, 15, and 16 will be at least. So that's my process. I really enjoy what I do, and I'm very grateful that I found the freelancers that I use for research and writing. Delegating that work has made me able to put more work into Somewhere Sinister in my vlog. One of the most important things that I was dying to get more time to dedicate to was music. Music was my life as a young adult, but life happened and I got busy with work and family, and music had to go to the back burner. I'm happy that I'm at a place now that I can start letting my creativity take back over. I can start creating music again. I plan on recording an entire album, but it probably won't be done until after we move, but I have a couple more singles in the works in the meantime. I want to give a big thanks to everyone who has watched or listened to any of my shows. If you have any questions for me personally or about my upcoming move to the Netherlands, you can leave them in the comments. Thanks so much, and be safe.